Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, November 30th. This is Gina Palma. Over the last 7 days, we've seen precipitation return to the Great Basin as the storm track has become a lot more active. Precipitation has mainly been focused over the northern two-thirds of the Great Basin, and this precipitation in the Sierra and over parts of northern Nevada, northern Utah, up into Idaho and Wyoming has been well above normal. Looking at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, you can see the new snowfall over the northern portion of the Great Basin and also in the Sierra. Many areas have seen above 6 inches of snow in the higher terrain of Idaho and Wyoming, and lesser amounts as you move further south. Looking at the snow depth, however, you can see we still have fairly good snow depth in the central Sierra, and then to a lesser extent up across Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah, with many areas across Nevada and the higher terrain, and even southern Utah, having at least some snow in the higher elevations. The satellite loop from this morning shows this trough of low pressure now moving over the eastern areas of the Great Basin, and this will continue moving eastward into the Rockies today, still producing quite a bit of cloud cover and some snow showers over the eastern and northern half of the region. However, we do have another storm system off the west coast which will approach the area by tomorrow, bringing an additional round of rain and snow showers to the Great Basin along with some breezy winds. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again you can see that trough moves into the central Rockies. Still some wraparound precipitation, clouds, rain and snow showers over the eastern areas of the Great Basin today. Looking at our ventilation index, dispersion will remain quite poor near this trough over Idaho, Wyoming, and especially northern Utah, and a little bit better as you move further west over Nevada, where the west to northwest winds are a little stronger. Looking at the transport winds today, you can see those gusty northwest winds across southwest Idaho into much of Nevada, with wind gusts between about 25 and 30 miles per hour. And looking at the mixing heights, they are still relatively low to moderate across most areas. As we move into Saturday, this next trough of low pressure moves into the west coast, and this will allow for showers again to increase, mainly over the northern half of the Great Basin. However, winds will be decreasing, therefore we'll see poor dispersion in many areas with the exception of just portions of western Nevada. Looking at the transport winds, again, western Nevada into central Nevada is where breezy west winds will continue, again keeping that dispersion a little bit higher with lighter winds further north and east. However, mixing heights will again remain moderate across the basin. Moving into Sunday, this trough starts to move eastward with some ridging off the west coast, so we will see some drier weather move into western areas of the Great Basin and slightly warming temperatures. However, still continued showers and clouds over the eastern half of the area on Sunday. However, as that ridge of high pressure starts to move eastward, winds will decrease, allowing dispersion to decrease to poor over much of western and northern areas and be a little bit higher, especially over southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and much of Utah with those breezier winds. Looking at the transport winds on Sunday, you can see again the gusty northwest winds to northerly winds across much of Utah into parts of far eastern Nevada with much lighter winds over Idaho into western Nevada. Looking at the mixing heights, we'll see mixing heights be relatively high over the southern areas of the Great Basin and quite a bit lower as you move further north. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah over the next few days, again, clearing indices will remain very high across most areas today. However, will be decreasing as we move through Saturday and Sunday, especially over the northern half of the state and in the higher terrain, with higher clearing indices remaining over southern areas. Looking at the forecast amount of precipitation over the next few days, taking us through Sunday night, you can see where the areas of the basin will see heavier precipitation, generally heavier snow into parts of the Utah mountains, up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, and then also over the central and northern Sierra. We'll see much lighter amounts over southern Nevada into the Arizona Strip. As we go into early next week, that ridge of high pressure will move across the Great Basin, keeping many areas a little bit warmer and drier with lighter winds, with the exception of parts of Wyoming into far eastern Idaho, which may still see some lighter showers on Monday. However, with winds decreasing as the ridge moves overhead, we will see poor dispersion almost region-wide. On Tuesday, we have another area of low pressure that will start approaching the west coast. This will allow winds to increase a little bit and also push mainly some cloud cover over the southern half of the Great Basin on Tuesday, but we also could see the start of some showers. We will see poor dispersion over the eastern half of the area and a little bit higher dispersion over parts of southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, where some of the winds may start increasing. On Wednesday, that low tracks a little bit further towards the coast, again allowing some precipitation to really increase over western areas of the Great Basin with cloud cover over much of Nevada and Utah. However, dispersion again will remain quite poor. As we move into Thursday, that trough of low pressure starts to move into California and the western half of the basin, and this will allow precipitation to spread over the entire area. So even areas in the southern areas of the Great Basin that have largely not seen a whole lot of precipitation will start to see some showers towards the middle to later portion of next week. However, dispersion also quite poor region-wide. Looking at the precipitation accumulation, this only goes through Wednesday afternoon, and you can see the start of that precipitation, especially in the Sierra, and then into parts of Nevada and southwest Idaho. But as we move through Thursday and Friday, that precipitation again will overspread much of the Great Basin. Looking at our 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the second week of December, we're looking at near to above normal temperatures, but again, that precipitation signature is really increasing, so we will likely see above normal precipitation almost across the entire area, with the exception of parts of the northern side of the basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.